Wait a second, something's up. Go live. Okay, so I think we are live. We are live, and I can see that people are starting to watch now. Okay, sorry about that. There was a little hiccup there. Who knows what just happened? But we are here. We are live. We are binges. We are talking Vanderpump Rules. A lot has happened in the Vanderpump Rules universe lately. And to join me today, I am bringing in my main bitch, Miss Nelson, the baddest bitch.
Hi.
How are you?
Yes. Good. How are you?
Good. I got my water.
Yes, water. Gotta hydrate.
You can call me thirsty. Oh my goodness. Okay, so starting to jump on. They're starting to watch. Today, you guys, we're going to be talking a little bit about Vanderpump Rules. It rules Florida. Not really right now, but there's a few good people on it. And so things are happening there. So we're going to be talking Vanderpump Rules. But as people are joining us, I just wanted to kind of just address a couple of things that were going on. So we have that Just a Moment segment. Just a moment. Ding, ding, ding. Okay. So anyways, I'm being extra today. Today is Juneteenth. It is June 19th. And so it's kind of surprising that it's amazing that this is like a subject right now that people are actually talking about. Juneteenth is otherwise known as Freedom Day, Emancipation Day, blah, 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 blah. So the thing is do you know about Juneteenth yourself? Did you learn about that in school?
Yes, I know about it, yeah.
Okay, so Juneteenth, for people who are just joining us, and if you don't know what Juneteenth is, it is the day that slaves became free over in Texas. So while Abraham Lincoln actually he declared, the Emancipation Proclamation had happened on January 1st, 1863. And at that point, people were to be equal, and slaves were no longer supposed to be slaves. They were free and enslaved individuals. So essentially 2 years later, this information finally made its way over to Texas. There's lots of theories about why it didn't get over to Texas. Some people think that the messenger was killed somewhere down the road. There's just a lot of back and forth information about that. But essentially the Union General, they actually, came into Galveston, Texas, and he declared all slaves in Texas free, which is a big deal because there's like 250,000 slaves. There was a lot of people who thought that there's slaves over in Louisiana and the neighboring states over there. They thought that they could get away with putting their slaves in Texas because they thought the Confederacy was going to win, so this way they keep their property. So end on to end, that's basically what Juneteenth is. I did put a link inside the description of this video today, so if people want to take a look in a little bit further description. I just wanted to make sure that we are just being socially conscious. We do have a Vanderpump Rules. We talk about Real Housewives, talk about a lot of bullshit here. But the thing is we do want to make sure that we do acknowledge things that as they're going on right now in the world, because if we have a platform and if we have a few people that we're touching, we want to make sure that those people are at least, we have the responsibility to impart our knowledge to those people. And so, because we are influencers, whatever the fuck that means. So anyways, influencers basically means that we get invited to a party. But long story long. So that's part of this whole situation. And then I also wanted to just talk a little bit about, we have people who I think they're going to be going out there tomorrow, and they're going to be doing some Black Lives Matters protesting. I know that's going to be happening all over the place. And so we're just going to encourage everybody to be safe. We are during the time of a pandemic, so bring your hand sanitizer. Make sure you bring a change of mask for yourself. Just be really conscious. And then on the other side of that, wear all black. Don't be wearing stuff that people can tell who you are and they can pick you out of a crowd. So that's one part of it. Yeah, and if you can't be out there on those front lines, like, if you have a compromised immune system, you're taking care of an older person, there's reasons that you can't be out there. There's other things that you can be doing actively. We're all adults here. Get onto Google, find a petition you can sign. And when you sign it, share that and let people know that you're actually doing that. Use your little voice, use your little moment there. So I don't want to get preachy here. We both, as we both have grown up brown people essentially, and that you have Black in that. But I think a certain amount of our privilege does allow us, because we are lighter skinned, then there's other individuals that are in our family that we can get away with things, but it's not, we shouldn't be able to get away with it. We should all be conscious about what's going on right now in the world.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, yeah, I think
real
it's
quick
just
too, like if you can't, do anything, maybe you can donate, like you said. If you're a Drag Race fan, like I am, I saw that Shea Coulee has one of her shirts up right now for sale, and 50% of those proceeds are going to the Breonna Taylor Fund. So I purchased a shirt for myself because I love me some Shea, but I also, want to make sure that something is going good for a good cause. So I really appreciate that she's using her popularity for a good cause, as they would say in Clueless.
And we love that here, because we'll talk a little bit about that whole RuPaul's Drag Race thing, because that's happening right now. We have a whole all-star season happening. So
yep.
But yeah, so I mean, that's the thing is that if you want to go ahead and purchase a shirt from somebody, like how Nelson's saying here, from like a Shea Coulee or another person, I would make sure that it's a Black business, like make sure it's actually going to the fund where it's supposed to be going to. So that being said, let's talk about shit. Okay, so Vanderpump Rules, it's happening. It's out there in the world. Okay, so we had a 3-part finale. It was a little explosive, but you weren't here last week, and so so we had a whole conversation last week because this whole situation with Stassi and Kristen and Max and Brett all being fired.
Yeah.
And so now there is something here too that I've actually heard a little bit about. And so from what I understand, Stassi and Kristen didn't get the full shaft here from Bravo. So or at least their PR people are kind of putting a different spin on it, because Stassi hired some A-list amazing PR to actually take her out of this. Like, crisis management is in overdrive, because like everybody left her. Her management dropped her podcast dropped her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All those sponsors, her publisher. It's like huge. It's a really, really big deal. But I guess how this whole thing works is that there was these rumors that if they're fired, there's a whole situation where they can't really collect on those like royalties of past season, blah, 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 blah. Wow. But yeah, but the thing is that their publicist is kind of alluding to the fact that we are getting another Vanderpump Rules season, because that's something too that's kind of been in the air, because everybody's like, are we getting another season? Is it over now?
I mean, of course we're getting another season, so
yeah, and that's the thing is that it's been alluded, that each season, because Portia put this out, and I want to see maybe Danny Pellegrino mentions this on his podcast, or maybe I read this on Us Weekly. I don't know. I've consumed a lot of this bullcrap this week, so take it for hearsay, but do your own research. You're an adult. You got Google. Do it. Anyways, we're here to entertain. This is all alleged. Anyways, Portia from over at Real Housewives of Atlanta, she actually claimed that she just got her letter back. So, and that's like a really big deal, because you get invited back to be on another season, and the letter is essentially your contract. And so the girls from over in Atlanta, they've all started receiving their letters, and it also started happening over with Vanderpump Rules, because they're supposed to be getting back on the horse here at some point in the summer.
Yeah.
Because they're way behind shoot schedule at this point.
Yeah.
Because they usually come back. Yeah, they usually start recording right after Memorial Day in May.
Because we usually get a Pride episode every year from them, so which unfortunately we're not going to get them this season. So
there you go. So hopefully they do something with some LGBT involvement, because I mean that's part of this here.
It would be amazing if they did. Like I said, like that's the big hiccup for me is like, after 8 years we didn't really have any positive representation of the LGBT community. We had James's friend, that was like in love with him, whatever, so it kind of made it look like he was, I don't want to say not a pedophile, but it looked like he was aggressively trying to go after a straight guy. And you put that kind of light on gay people, like that's not great. We already have that negative connotation. And then we were getting Billy, and Billy was great, and Billy like stood up for herself. She created the drama. She was amazing, but unfortunately a lot of the other cast members just were not that great to her, which led to her maybe not coming back, or she just wasn't interested in doing it anymore. And then
she wasn't extended. She thought she was coming back, and it just ended up not going in her favor.
And then for me, like, at the end of this season, we got Ariana, a cis white woman, coming to terms with her bisexuality. Great story. Like, bisexuality is real and it's awesome. But after 8 years, I think it's too late, and it's not enough, I think, after 8 years. And especially since Lisa Vanderpump's businesses are in the heart of West Hollywood. And we do know she does employ gay people, and this show is specifically about a group of friends. So maybe none of their friends are gay, that's fine, but we should have done something with that from the jump, I think. So, because we know all about her activism for animals. Like, we can't ever say she wasn't, like, great for animals. You are great with the LGBTQ community and representing us, but not on your TV show, unfortunately. So we need to see that going forward.
Yeah, I think there's a whole thing here where it's a tone deafness that they've been in WeHo, and Gunther and I mentioned last week, because Billy in her blog, did you read that? Did you read any of her blog?
No.
So go through, and I know it's on her IG story. I want to say it's in her bio. She's always like, go to my blog and learn about putting a banana on your cooch. You know what I mean? Like, Billy is all about this earth, and like she wants to put a gemstone on her head and be thankful, and I'm here for it. Like, because she's just like, it is positive. She just wants the best, but she's got some claws. She got some stuff out there right now for the rest of the Vanderpump Rules, because she's basically went on and say, like, she loves Lisa, but there's an issue there, that Lisa, her top server is black, and like Billy, talks about that. And then Billy's also mentioned that the LGBT people and anybody who's not cis white, essentially, that's on the show, is a villain. They become a villain in the series. Billy became a villain. James's gay became a villain, and then we have Faith. She became a villain. So it's kind of like it's that kind of a situation, and they just kind of get knocked into that. There's just some there's crazy ugliness out there. So let's jump into the whole Faith conversation, because we can get into the finale, because the finale's fun. Let's get this stuff out of the way, because have you seen the interview with Faith that she did for like Entertainment Weekly? Have you seen this?
I didn't see the interview. No, I did read a lot of stuff though, and I did see some things. So, but no, I didn't see the Entertainment Weekly interview.
Okay, so I watched the Entertainment Weekly video, and then I actually like Googled some of the stuff that was in there. Like I said, we're adults. Google it. Look on a few different places. Don't get all your information on Facebook, people. But go in. And so this whole thing was that she basically stated that not really anybody from the cast has really like reached out to her or anything. LaLa kind of said that she wanted to start over. LaLa did reach out. But there was some problematic stuff too in LaLa's past with her. Allegedly, LaLa used to kind of put things in her house to kind of entrap her so she could catch Faith stealing.
Yeah.
And so something like that had been in a part. And then she also, I guess, threatened to pull a knife on Faith at some point. And so those two had some problems. And so, but I guess she reached out, and then she said that Kristen actually reached out to her via DMs and really was like consciously like, it wasn't racial, but it's racial. You know what I mean? And I think Kristen's the one out of this whole foursome, she feels like the one who's getting it the most.
Yeah.
Whereas Max has been protesting. He was out there doing the Black Lives Matter protest. He's been walking with his brothers and sisters that he works with, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so you see a little bit of that. I think the whole Stassi thing, though, is that this PR machine for her is an overdrive, that she announces that she's pregnant, like in the middle of a pandemic.
I know.
While all this stuff is happening, but she doesn't announce it. A source close to her confirms. So it's not, they didn't want to be messy and put out like, we're having a baby and do like a thing on People Magazine, because nobody really wants that story right now.
No, nobody
wants
that at all.
She's persona non grata. And the thing is like, and what's going to happen with her right now is that I think Stassi has to, she's in WeHo, yo. Like, be active in your community now. Like, just go out there and do some Black Lives Matters footwork and learn and listen to the stories, and don't just go out there like those influencers, that are like doing like the sign thing, and they're like, okay, you got it, thanks. Did you see those?
Yeah, I saw that.
Like,
So
it's
bad.
just like those people are like, then they realize they're doing a peace sign and they're like, oh. It's so awkward. But if she went out there and did a little bit of that and really took an active role and didn't just put up the black square,
yeah,
I think there's some climbing back, because we all want to like Stassi, you know what I mean?
yeah.
And blonde white girls get chance after chance.
They do, unfortunately, and for Stassi, though, she kind of really did come full circle, because if you look at the first couple of seasons, she was the villain, she was the mean girl, she said all the outlandish shit that they needed to get done and said so that they could survive and keep getting more seasons, because that's what makes for great TV, especially when you're in a TV show. Unfortunately, you have to, take those risks, and do they pay off? Absolutely, they have. So it is unfortunate, though, that this happened to her. We're just in a place right now, where everyone is being held accountable for what they have done, and
Yeah.
they have to
Well, in that
sacrifice.
matter, it didn't happen to her. She did it.
She did it.
She did
Absolutely.
it.
Yeah. She held
She
herself
did it. I
accountable.
mean,
So
they racially profiled this girl. I mean, when you come down to it, that's what
yeah,
they did. They
yeah,
said black skin, braids. She went to Vegas. It's her. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Where this woman who was actually in the pictures. I mean, she was from the UK, and they knew that. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like, it's not like Faith was walking around talking like Lisa Vanderpump all the time. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
I know when you code switch when you're with certain people, but when you're with Lisa Vanderpump, you're not going to all of a sudden start talking like this all the time. You
yeah,
know what I mean? Like that it's kind of a bunch of bullshit, I think.
yeah,
She said Ariana reached out to her. That's one. I think Ariana, with the way that they did this reunion,
yeah.
Ariana's top bitch next year. It's not going to be Sheena.
It's not going to be
It's going to
Sheena. It's
be
not going to be
Ariana.
Kate. It's not going to be Katie. It's going to be Ariana for sure. Absolutely. Ariana can carry
Mm-hmm.
that group. I mean, it could be LaLa, but I don't think LaLa cares. So
Did Katie say one thing in this whole third part of the reunion?
No, not really, not at all.
There
So
you go.
yeah,
She
so
said nothing.
yeah, with how it's all
And
been, yeah. I
and
think
it was
Katie,
edited heavy on the Ariana, and it was
yeah,
heavy on the Sheena. You know what I
Katie.
mean? Like
I think Katie is totally just complacent with being the quiet girl and collecting her check, which is totally fine. Play
well,
that game, girl. Play that game.
it's just amazing how all this stuff like kind of like boiled down to with like I mentioned this is again like something we mentioned last week. Who knew that Katie would be the most woke
Right?
out of all
Yeah,
these
because
girls?
if you look at
Not
her
LaLa.
Instagram, yeah, not LaLa, yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
if you
Yeah,
look
and if
at
you look
Katie's
at Katie's
Instagram, yeah, she's very involved. Yeah,
she's in the know. She gets it. She gets it, and she's not trying to. And what I love about it is, it's that whole when people are trying to like show their experience. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
I put up this post earlier this week facetiously, and it's all the celebrities saying like, "I'm listening." You know what I mean? And it's like we don't care. Like I
yeah,
love you, Bryce Dallas Howard, and we talk a lot about Bryce Dallas Howard in this episode of the Star Wars of that I just did on Binge Bitches this week. So
yeah.
check it out. Look at the like and subscribe Binge Bitches on YouTube. Ding. But anyways, so we talk about Bryce Dallas Howard on there, but then she's in this like little video that all these celebrities made that they're listening, that they're now aware, and it's like, okay, go now and take that and like make a black girl the lead in your next movie, Bryce. Like just do that. So you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
how this changes. That's
Yeah,
how we push the needle a little bit further. Is
yeah.
that and we're not at and the thing is that in this whole thing is it's not I don't want to get too preachy here. Ew, we're gonna get gross. We are serving a side of woke today with Binge Bitches. It's gross, but it's where the world is right
Yeah,
now. Yeah, but I think with that Katie is the most woke. She is the person who is right now just kind of like she's coasting into this, and she was the one who thought this is an issue. We don't need to do a police prank on Vanderpump Rules. She knew the bigger connotations of it all.
oh
And the
yeah,
thing
for
is,
sure.
if they really want to get into it, then it gets a little bit ugly, which is
Yeah,
also leading us back to this whole Faith situation because Jax, so she goes to mention that Jax has also put out there that she, on his Twitter, and I went and did a Google, and I did find that he basically tweeted that Faith, she's wanted by the police for Grand Theft Auto and AWOL for military. Bad idea to be on a reality show, dude. Someone's going to jail. This is what he wrote about her at the same time this shit was all going down in 2018 when the girls did this.
Yeah.
So all this drama was not even happening during, it wasn't even happening during the shooting season either. When this Katie, when this Kristen Stassi stuff happened, it was actually before the season started, and it kind of boiled down into when everything had started with the, when they started shooting the episodes, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so Faith claims that Brittany said that she was a nappy-headed hoe.
That's terrible. I mean,
and so this leads me to believe those two are gone.
For sure, absolutely. I mean, they don't. I mean, because like how the reunion, even how it ended, they were like, "How do you feel, Brittany, that you're gonna have to be defending Jax for the rest of your life?" Like, I don't think she's gonna want to do that next season if they are a part of it. So,
well, she's like, I don't deserve this, and it's like, you married this.
Yeah, that's what you wanted, girl. Like you wanted on the show. You married Jax. This is what you get now.
Nothing was hidden. That's the other part about this, is there was nothing hidden this whole entire time. His cards were on the table. Every time he was shitty, it was always found out. And then oh my God. So like, let's talk about this reunion. So, with this whole reunion, like this whole thing with Brittany, that she's now the victim of Jax, and that, they don't want to make her feel bad and all that sort of thing. And I loved how Stassi did call it out and put it out there plain and simple for him.
Yeah.
You know
absolutely.
what I mean? And it was like, I was like, Stassi had two good moments in this reunion. And you're like, that's the Stassi that we needed.
For sure.
To be on the front lines.
She's
of
the only
the
one
Black
that
Lives
could
Matter
talk to him like that, though. You know what I mean? Because she has friends, they dated, they've had history, they know each other. You know what I mean? So I think he is more than willing to receive her criticism over anyone else's, I think. So, I mean,
I think he was also, he's scared of her. He's scared of her.
Absolutely. He's definitely scared of her.
He's scared. And so it was just amazing that, when she tells him, like, so there's like so many things about this whole, like this final part of the reunion with Jax, like the whole mental instability and that, his brain is broken.
Yeah.
That whole thing. And it's like, they're all like, you have to go and do something for yourself, dude. You have to go. And they're all freaking out.
Yeah.
And then the whole thing with LaLa, that Randall booked him some top doctor, paid for it, and Jax never showed up.
Yeah, all you had to do was show up. Like, come on, man. That's I don't. You can't. How do you respond to that? You don't want to fix the problem. I mean, and maybe it's not so much he doesn't want to fix the problem, is that he's scared as what he's going to find out, or he's scared what he can fix or what his life can be, because he's so complacent and not having these feelings be identified.
I think he's just
where to put them.
I think he's gotten away with things for so long that it's like he's gonna be fine, because he's always fine. He's a cat. He can always land on his feet. You know what I mean? And it's always like, but now he just can't land on his feet. He's got somebody else he's responsible for. So he's got to start taking up for that a little bit more, But that's the thing too, is like, it's been reported like Randall stopped, like I think it's so funny. This is such a big deal in this stupid celebrity world. But when somebody stops following somebody on Instagram, it's like a big deal, like they broke up.
Yeah.
Well, Randall stopped following Jax.
Oh, wow.
So, and so that kind of tells you that.
I mean,
Jax is a liability. Randall is money movie. You know what I mean? Like he had like he's with Al Pacino in movies and shit like that. Like, so it's not like, Hollywood's not looking at him and the company that he keeps. And with everything going on right now in Hollywood, and this is going to shake things up. Like this whole movement right now is not just a moment. And you can feel it, and it's just different this time. And so I think that Randall's distancing himself, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's why LaLa's not there anymore, because she's got to choose between him and the show, a la
Probably.
Tinsley on New
Yeah.
York Housewives, and just all of a sudden, maybe she'll just do like half the season, and she'll get married and be gone.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing. Ooh, Stassi lost her wedding, and that means LaLa got one.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Think about it.
And let's be honest, that's gonna be a much funner wedding to watch anyway, because we know Rand's got money. So not that Stassi didn't, but
Do you think the other ones will be invited and they'll go?
Huh? Oh, that Jax and Brittany will be invited to the wedding?
But do you think that like Stassi and Kristen will be invited to her wedding? And do you think they go? They probably won't get any camera time, but they probably will just go.
It just depends, I guess, on how close their friendship really is, I would say. And yeah, whether or not they would get camera time or not. So
it's just it's so ugly. I love Charlie. They brought her back in.
Yeah.
So it's like into the fold, and she kind of said her piece, and she was like, "Well, I just backed out of it." Like, I love her. I love Charlie, and I've been saying it. And everybody had those issues because she didn't want to eat pasta, but I'm like, it's not a big deal. It's not about the pasta.
It's not about the pasta.
It's not about the pasta.
But it is. No, it's not. They just didn't give her the airtime, I think, or they didn't edit her well. I mean, I hate to say they didn't edit her well, because I mean it's a reality show, but they just chose not to put her as much of the story as she could have been, other than the girl who ate pasta or was dumb and recommending Cheesecake Factory to her tables. You know, like they could have done something a lot more with her, and hopefully they'll do that next season if she gets another gets an invitation back. So I mean, I'm down to see her again. I'm down to give the girl another shot. So because I do want to see her get messy, and I do want to see her bring what she can. So
see, I don't think that she's gonna be messy. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I have a feeling she's just gonna take bitches down. Like, I just have this weird feeling that's
for sure. Yeah,
that'll be what happens.
Yeah, she's definitely no hold bar, no bullshit.
And I'm ready to see what Danica also has in her crazy, because she's a bag of crazy.
I love Danica,
and like
great, but I don't know if Lisa's gonna love her, because Lisa said that she is hot-headed. And it's true, someone that works in a restaurant, you can't have someone in management like that. But I mean, it's
good for the show.
It's good for the show. Yeah, it's good. It's good for the show. Absolutely, it's good for the show. But when you're running a business, it's completely different. So, are we coming at this realistically for a reality show? Is she on? Like, is she really working there, and they're documenting that as work, or are we just making a show? Is she an actress that now works at this place? So.
I think they all still work, and they're still going to be working there. Here's the thing.
Well, here's the thing too. After Brett and I want to know, like, after Brett and Max got fired, did they get released from the company as well, or they just gone from the show? You know what I mean? Like,
they're probably released. They're probably released. She can't keep those liabilities.
Yeah, I mean,
she can't keep that. It's out there.
It's out there, absolutely, because then it becomes the point then too of whether or not, once people start going back out to eat again, or when LA opens up for them, are people going to come now to this restaurant to seek these guys out and just be mean to them? Like, you don't want that in your restaurant as well, So
yeah, she's done. She's done with them. I think, because she even made the statement that it has nowhere in her companies and blah 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 blah. She made that half-ass very very stale statement, but no, they're done. Like, those two, like, they're not worth enough for her. You know what I mean? And so they'll replace them. It's kind of like the whole thing. You're not important enough to hate. It's that whole situation with Lisa. So I think those people are just going to be
Let's move Danica up to Tom manager. How great would that be?
Maybe, or just make them all bartenders, because then it gives them so much more freedom.
Yeah.
They it's interesting to see, like, that they, like, everything that Brett and Max said doesn't even matter. Like, who cares about them anymore? Like, it really does. Like, they killed everything with those two. Those two, that they have nothing after this.
Yeah.
And then the whole fact that they became famous and not famous all in quarantine. How about that? How about those apples?
Yeah, all during quarantine. Yeah.
All during, like, kind of like a Sherry Pie. Like, there should be like a relief group for Sherry Pie and Max and Brett.
Yeah.
To be like one season wonders that you coulda, woulda, shoulda had the whole fucking world.
Yeah.
Like, you were given such a platform on two of the biggest TV shows, you know,
It's
for
true.
people.
Networks
For,
too, you know, like, I mean, VH1 and Bravo, those are some great heavy networks. I mean, like, you know,
and they just pissed it away.
yeah,
Bad actions from the past.
yeah.
Like, if you are going to be famous, you need to just take your whole damn Twitter down and get a new one. Like, just, you don't know what happened, because
Right? I
those
hope
boys
to
were
God
16.
that no one has receipts on you. So,
Yeah. And the thing is and those boys should have addressed it the moment it came out. And that's also, that kind of goes back to the whole Sandoval and Jax of it all, that those guys, they, that Jax was mad at Sandoval for bringing up the whole bad pastor, the anti-Christian,
yes.
the anti-LGBT pastor that was making all the tweets and everything.
Yeah.
And so that Sandoval was bringing it up on camera. And the whole situation there that you really, really saw was Sandoval saying, take this on head on camera, so they document it. So then this way, when it runs, everybody knows that you're the good guy here, and that you're not going to just you're not going to try to sweep this under the rug, because that's what Jax likes to do. Is Jax likes to put things under the rug and then they come back out. Hence the pregnant bitch, hence sleeping with Kristen, hence, you know, sleeping with Faith. I mean, like, it just keeps piling on. Stealing sunglasses. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Jax does all kinds of shitty stuff, puts it under the rug, and then everybody's just supposed to, you know, to eat it. And that's the whole problem with everybody this year, is that they finally were like, you know, you say this every year, you're becoming a better person.
Yes.
And the
Andy
shady editors,
the
shady editors put in every single season up, season 2, season 3, season 4. And it was just like, each time he was like, well, yeah, I'm going to be better. And it's like, you are like coked out of your mind right now. Like even at quarantine, Jackson's like, you know, like, it's like, that's the problem. That's the reason why he didn't show up for Randall, is because he was coked out of his mind, allegedly. But
no, totally. I mean, I agree. You know, Andy Cohen called him out, and it is unfortunate too that he was like, well, I feel like you're coming for me, Andy. And he's like, I am not coming for you. He's like, it is my job. He's like, I am just basing this off of what I've seen. I've been watching the show this season. This is how you behaved. Now I'm asking you the questions on how you behave. So, and to be almost, I mean, he's 40 years old, but to be, you know, that age and not have any sort of accountability for how you act, or to not at least know that you're part of the reason for your problems, that's a huge, like, you need to learn
there's
that.
no
He hasn't gotten
self-awareness.
that yet. What's up? Yeah, no
Yeah.
self-awareness. So you need to have that, I think, just as an adult, you know, or make the steps towards getting there, you know, because sooner or later you're going to figure it out, and hopefully it's not going to be too late for you to figure out, to be like, to have that aha moment and be like, you know what, the whole reason for this was because of me, because I could have changed it, but I didn't do anything for that. Everyone was right all along. He's going to figure that out later. So, and he probably won't be back next season, you know, which is, I don't understand that, you know, like, these kids, they've made so much money doing this. They've all just bought new homes. You know, those homes aren't going to magically pay for themselves with mortgage over time. You bought the home. Now you need to be able to keep paying for it. So you need to be on another season of the show, because the show's giving you the money. No one else is going to give it to you. I can't really see any endorsements coming to these kids. There's nowhere for you to go to make a club appearance right now. You know, like,
Jax
what are you
and
doing
Brittany,
for coins?
if Jax and Brittany were super smart, they would leverage themselves out of the show right now before they get fired.
Absolutely.
That's the thing, is that if somebody can say, oh, I got that on tape when Brittany said slanderous things towards Faith, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or, you know, or if they decide to fire him over that tweet, you know what I mean? It would be better for them to hurry up and get on a WE show or a show on Oxygen, Marriage Boot Camp, and leverage it out, get the hell out of Dodge right now, because it's like, they are, Bravo is releasing. They are just releasing people from contracts right and left. They just did it on, Below Deck Med, that the new guy, Peter, he put something super racist on his Instagram. Like, I'm not even going to repeat it here. It's triggering. Very racial. You can Google it. Again, be an adult, Google it. But so Peter put something out there, and Bravo has decided, they pulled a Sherry Pie, and they are now like putting the disclaimer before things in light of recent, events, blah, 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 blah. And then they've also they've actually put out there that we are re-editing the season because all the Bravo shows are on hiatus right now because since they've been in quarantine. So they're going to re-edit the whole season to take him out of things. They do not want to highlight him. So if he's not propelling the storyline, he's out. They're not going to have like the cute little scenes of him making a salad, whistling in the galley. All that shit is gone. Like, so he lost it. He lost his platform. You're losing that. So he's probably going to go speak the next Trump rally. Who knows? But like, it's like that's basically, that's where you're going to go next. You're going to pull a Scott Baio. You're going to run over to the Trump side, and that's where you're going to go try to make some money. But keep digging that hole. Be better. Be better. Learn something and make better of it. You know what I mean? Be a phoenix from these ashes. And then so that's what Bravo's doing, is that they are just kind of going down the line, and it looks like they're getting rid of people. There's a rumor right now too that they're getting rid of Kelly Dodd.
Yeah, that's huge. So
that Kelly Dodd is going to be gone, and like Tamra is the one who's like been tweeting like, I know things. You know what I mean? Like, because Tamra's bitter. She wants her show back, and
For
Kelly's
sure.
supposed to be top billing this year.
For sure.
And so, and Kelly has been not very smart while she's been in quarantine, and she's been saying some very, very uneducated things about wearing masks and going off on people and all that kind of thing. And so she's just, there's rumors that Kelly's going to be gone, which pisses me off because Kelly is like the reason to watch that show.
Absolutely. Kelly was the only reason to watch OC Housewives, I think. So that's, because none of those girls are going to be able to carry that show at all, I think, especially with, Tamara and Vicky gone. Vicky was problematic from the get-go, so it's good that she's gone. But there's no real drama there. Do we want to really see a whole season of Emily losing weight and getting her marriage back? Probably not.
No, I think Bronwyn's going to have a little bit of a story, I feel.
Bronwyn, and Bronwyn's great because Bronwyn is diversified. She has, her gay son. I think she was just here last summer because we saw pictures that, a friend of ours, David Cope, posted on Instagram. They were at not Toddlers, Tantrums and Tiaras. They're at Tantrums and Tiaras.
Yeah, they were tantrums. They were judges.
Because her son was interested in it though too, so they were there. So Bronwyn and Emily were there. So she's very open-hearted. She's very open-minded. She's definitely what we would need from a housewife right now from the Bravo franchise.
So two parts of that too, where Andy Cohen had tweeted because somebody was like, Andy, call them out. Who are Trump supporters in the Housewives? And he was like, well, the Real Housewives of New York and Real House of Atlanta, he was like, I know that they all voted for HRC. He knew that personally because he had them at like things. And then he mentioned that a few from Dallas and a couple from OC. And so he said, I think he said a few from Dallas, and I think everybody from the OC voted for Trump or whatever. And when that kind of pushed out, Bronwyn retweeted that, and she went, "Not all of us," and like she wants to make it known that she did not vote for Trump. Like she went,
good for her for doing that too, because she doesn't want to be associated with that.
Her retweet was, "Nope, not all of us," and so
I'm not surprised by that though either. So
and they got rid of Leanne Locken. She's gone.
I heard,
and then now they're
gone.
saying. Yeah, and now they're saying that Brandy's gone. That apparently she put she had some racial stuff out there. Well, she did the whole Chinese thing a little while ago.
She did that a while ago, so.
And she apologized for that, but I guess she did something else that had to do with some other racial stuff that's going on in Texas right now. So Bravo is cleaning house. And so it's going to be surprising to see like who actually gets to keep their jobs and where these storylines are going to go. Because it is nice for a refresh. They've been doing something new with all these shows as it is. Like we're seeing the fourth wall come down. That's what needs to happen, and that's what needs to happen to Vanderpump Rules next year. That would be fucking interesting. Is that if they show us the fallout of these people being knocked out of the show because of this? Because because they can't just lie and be like, oh, we don't hang out with Stassi anymore. Yeah, you've built us up for 8 years where we know Stassi's a good friend of yours. Explain why she can't be here at this party today. that's what they're going to need to do. Like,
Yeah,
you
no,
know,
absolutely. I totally agree with you on that because yeah, these are their real lives. I mean, if Stassi was my friend, would she be out of my life completely? Probably not, because you would be like, I know who she is, and she made a bad lapse in judgment. You do believe that her apologies have been sincere, and there has been no other. I think there have been no other, situations that she's had where she has demonstrated, blatant racism.
she needs some of those friends of hers from New Orleans to like come out and be like,
Right?
hey, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? That's the
absolutely.
thing. But it needs to be on their own attrition too. It can't be like her trotting them out. They need
Yeah,
to just Instagram out from where they are, and
yeah,
that's part of it too. Is that if you don't have that, I mean, I put something out there yesterday of like the whole fashion blogger thing.
yeah,
That fashion bloggers post be like, and they're all blonde, and then all of
yeah,
a sudden it's a black square, and then they're all dark. And
yeah,
like when you look through somebody's Instagram like that, who's always putting pictures of them with their friends, you see what their friends look like.
yeah,
Just saying, you know what I mean?
yeah,
If
for sure.
you're if it's all selfie, that's one thing. But if you're putting pictures out there of what you and your friends are all the time, then that's the company you're keeping. You know what I mean? That's the image that you're putting out there. So what is the image that you are putting out there? Part of your brand, because these are socially. I mean, you can't get around the fact that Stassi and Sheena and Jax, they're products now. Those aren't people anymore. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? They are brands. This is like, Jax is a brand. Jason Couchy is the real person who goes home and sleeps his head on the bed. But
yeah,
Jax is a whole brand, and his brand is an asshole. His
yeah,
brand is this horrible thing, which just shows you like what's spilling out from the guts that's at home. You know what I
yeah,
mean? It's very, very interesting. I think that it's just going to be, um, I hope that they build off of this and they bring in more of their people of color and people that are in her restaurants and build those
yeah,
stories, because the stories could be fun if you base something, like in the actual restaurant where this bitch did not get her soup at table 22.
yeah,
She is a raging, bitch, and she's being crazy. Well, like, let's let the server and Sheena handle that situation. Let's see the
yeah,
actual thing boil down in the restaurant.
yeah,
That could be interesting
yeah,
if you can't focus anymore on like who's sleeping with who. But enough of them are sleeping together. Oh
yeah,
my god. Okay, so that's another thing about this reunion too. This whole thing where Max and Dana and Max and Danica, and he used to Danica like, oh, I think you want to sleep with him, Danica. You want to sleep with Max. That whole situation. And Danica's like, no, I didn't. And like she's like, and then Max was like, yeah, she used to like hook me up with her friends and blah blah blah.
yeah,
Okay, there's that. And then why is it that Lisa Vanderpump is still coming for like Sheena for like maybe hooking up with the Max, but she's not saying shit to Max about him sleeping with the whole staff.
yeah. No, not at all. So
The double standard is so gross in that sense that like, why
yeah,
are the boys allowed to be just, these
boys.
raging dogs, and they
Yeah,
can do what they want to do? Boys can be boys,
yeah,
and then they slut shame the girls when this is such an empowered show that it's based off a woman who is the boss, Lisa Vanderpump.
yeah. I mean, it is super problematic too, just for running a business. I know, like I said, from working in restaurants, we are advised to not sleep with each other or have relationships with each other. But I
You're
mean,
advised that? Is that in your handbook?
it's in our handbook. It is advised, and if you are dating somebody, like if you're dating someone higher than you, like if you're dating a manager, then you need to let HR know, and then HR will put you guys in different restaurant locations because you can't work together. Like that
If
is
you're
the
dating
thing.
in the same store, do
If
you
it's
have
like
to
just
report it?
if it's
Like,
just two servers dating each other, or if it's just like hourly people, yes, that is totally fine. That can totally happen, and you don't need to disclose your relationship or anything like that. It is just advised to keep things friendly and businesslike, to make sure that we're professional at all times. Like, so what? You guys got in a fight at home, just don't bring it into work. Unfortunately, a lot of people are young and they can't differentiate those emotions. Like, because we're going to carry the fight that we had on at home into the restaurant, and then people pick sides, and then people don't like other people. So, I mean, it's not great. So, but
I remember there was I worked with this couple
Yeah.
A while ago when I worked for this event company, and they would like, you would know how the day was gonna go, how they came in, because if they came in separate cars, you'd be like, shit, we all gonna have shitty days today. And then when they came in when they would come in the same car, you'd be like, oh shit, they good today.
Yeah.
Or like by halfway through the day, and like she'd be like, hey, can you give me a ride home? It's like,
Right,
oh, you
yeah.
guys are fighting already? Like that's how you knew how your day was gonna go.
Yeah.
It's like, that's morning show shit though. Like you gotta disclose it to the HR, and you know. So can you please just who came on to who first, and who you know?
I don't think it's like that. I don't think it would be that drastic. But for Max too, it puts him in a bad light, because at the same time too, if you're sleeping with everybody, how am I supposed to respect you as my boss if I know that you like a finger up your butt?
There is a power dynamic there that doesn't work though. For Max, the manager, to be sleeping with his servers that are girls, it's not cool. No. You work together. And the thing is that's like you become favorite, and then you're no longer favorite. And the thing is, and then there's also the fact that like, if I tell him no next time, do I get a bad shift?
Yes, absolutely. That's
power dynamic there that totally, you can't get around.
That's a sexual harassment lawsuit, like just waiting to happen. You know what I mean?
There you go.
And when you're
that's what Lisa's opening herself up to.
Absolutely. No. And here's the thing: when you're on a TV show, now that's been documented. That's on TV. Now, can I sue the network for that sexual harassment as well? You know what I mean? But I don't know what contracts they sign and what liabilities that the cast members have of this show and all that. But I'm just like thinking, like this is what it could be. So they need to be a little bit smarter about it. Sorry.
Yeah, it's very that, and like it's very it's risky behavior on Lisa Vanderpump's part, you know what I mean? To always just be like, oh, it's okay, you know what I mean? Like, and that's the thing. It's one thing is if it was two servers, you know what I mean? A bartender and a server. That's one thing. But when it becomes management, it's touchy, and it's the same situation. Okay, so she can't work here anymore. She got to go work at Tom Tom. She goes to Pump. Yeah, there's no cameras up. Sorry.
Like, you need to go to Villa Blanca. You need to go to Villa Blanca, girl. There's nothing there.
Why? That Villa Blanca, that's a front. I'm telling you right now. I see Breaking Bad. I know what's going on. allegedly, Lisa Vanderpump, don't come for me. So I'm trying to think, have we mentioned everything? Have we mentioned it all? The Ariana of it all, she just kind of kept on with him. Like, she would just be like, oh, I'm a garbage person. Person.
Well, see,
that's why I'm on the show.
She has the accountability at least for that, though, because let's be honest, if you're on a reality show that's supposed to be a trashy reality show, are you a good person? I don't know. Like, I like to think I'm a good person.
What she was doing...
What's up?
She was nudging him. The nudge there was deeper though, because what she was doing was first off, Andy was in the Jax section, and he's asking Jax all the questions. Jax reveals there too that Jax doesn't even watch the fucking show. Jax gets paid more than any other cast member, doesn't watch the show, and doesn't do a blog for Bravo. Yeah. Yuck. When everybody else is usually forced to do that.
You're supposed to do a blog for Bravo. That's part of your contract. So
it's not his. He doesn't watch the show. So the thing is so I think he does those.
Are supposed to do it. So I don't know. Maybe it's different for the Pump Rules kids. I don't know.
Well, that's the thing is that's why he wasn't getting like, why are you guys bringing this up? Because it was part of the show, Jax. It's not just because you did something shitty. It's because America got to see it and everybody's asking about it. Yeah. So there's that part of it. So as that's happening, and then they do the whole montage of him saying that he's gonna be a better person. He's like, "Why are you guys like busting my balls?" Blah blah blah. And that's when Ariana, she was like, she goes, I mean, are we gonna talk about this the whole entire time? He's not gonna make any difference. Can we move on to the next section? Yeah. And then Jack gets upset because they're gonna take the spotlight away from him. He was like, "Why do you have to be like that?" And she was okay, because I'm a garbage person. She was talking like she was being him.
Oh,
She wasn't
gotcha.
saying about herself.
Oh, that's
Like
what
if
she
you
was saying
rewatch
about
that,
herself. Yeah,
she's
yeah.
saying, I'm a garbage person, I'm Jax, like she wasn't
Oh,
saying I'm
gotcha.
Jax, but she's calling him a
Yeah,
garbage person that whole time.
yeah.
That was one of the best parts about it. Ugh. Okay, Brittany, when she went to cry, she turns her head and like lets her
Right? She's
hair
like,
just like
look at me,
fall.
look at me. Yeah.
It's one of those like that was a drunk girl in a bathroom conversation that we were all witnessing. Like it was like Brittany, 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 look at me, look at me, look at me. Like it was like I've heard that in a bathroom at a club. Like I've heard that exact conversation somewhere, and like two drunk girls and one girl is just not getting her shit together.
Right,
Like that
yeah.
was essentially what was happening there. I was getting like post-traumatic stress from being at Rich's, and so it was just so funny. And then Brittany's like, I'm just trying not to cry. And like Brittany sounds like a banjo when she talks. Like Brittany sounds like a banjo. Like she just goes,
She does.
and then I'm gonna talk to Jax.
I mean, she is such a pretty girl, and it's like then that comes out. So
She's not pretty to me anymore. I'm over
yeah,
her. But yeah, like in this, and you know, LaLa's like, you know, Jax, you're my boy, but
yeah,
when you do this, you're my boy, and it's like, really, LaLa,
yeah.
you know? Oh wait, how LaLa had an issue with Charlie because Charlie's wearing a half shirt.
At the
Then LaLa's
reunion,
wearing a no, not the reunion. When they did like a flashback of like why was she being shitty to Charlie at
yeah,
something, and like she was like, I just didn't like how she looked. I didn't like what she was wearing. Blah blah blah. And like the thing is, like she was like wearing like a crop top, and then they flash over to LaLa, and LaLa is wearing a
a crop top,
for the reunion.
right? I'm like, I mean, LaLa, that's like totally her style. So I don't know what that was about. So, such a crazy woman.
I'm ready to get rid of I'm ready to get rid of Jax and them. I would like to see this be like kind of like the Toms
Yeah,
and their wives, like the Toms
yeah,
and their wives, and like Katie has this new woke attitude. Ariana been woke, you know what
yeah,
I mean? Like, and so those two can kind of be like the second matriarchs underneath, you
yeah.
know, LVP, and then maybe they're the ones who are ushering the new girls into like the new. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I
And
mean,
so
I mean, it would be nice to have Sheena and Danica and Dana too, and Charlie. So those girls getting a little bit of what they need to get. So
on if you go to like the because when I went to watch this episode to pay attention to it this afternoon, I had on the Broad website, the banner right now is Dana, like it's just like a scene of Dana, you know, like, click here to see a scene of Dana, and then the actual scene of like the Vanderpump Rules, you know, stuff to, you know, before they were getting ready.
yeah,
The pictures is just LVP, Katie, Sheena, and Charlie. It's all dark hair girls. So it's going to be like a very brunette season next year.
Yeah, it's gonna be the brunettes versus the blondes next year.
Oh my God. What if Katie comes back with that orange hair?
Like in the
Remember
first
Katie had
season?
that season?
In the
Yeah,
first
she had that
season?
season. She talks about that you know that you have to be consistent, you know, like for like they are given that directive at the beginning of the season when they start shooting, is that like what you look like right now, please keep it unless it's
Yeah,
part of your storyline. Like, you know,
yeah,
it becomes like a major plot point of your storyline. And so she was trying to gradually take herself down to blonde, and they did it too fast,
yeah.
and it became that weird red color. And then they told her, well, we can't do anything to it because your hair will start breaking off. And then she shot the pilot for Vanderpump Rules. So she was so then they had to do that ugly orange hair on purpose.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like something
But
she
it was
really
fine
wanted
because
to
she
do.
wasn't really like featured a lot. She wasn't like she wasn't really that big of a part of it, I would say. So
It was so bad. It was
yeah,
so bad. Like it was so bad in her her whole journey. So okay. So I think we kind of like covered everything that was like major. I think that I didn't have anything else big.
yeah,
I think that was it. I just put Stassi pointed that stuff out, and Dana and Sheena thought the sidekick was gonna go over okay with Dana, and then we got that like sad moment of like
Dana's gonna what?
Sheena was gonna give Dana a psychic for her birthday.
Yes, that moment. Yeah.
And
yeah.
and so it was just kind of like oh, this is sad. And then like Jax was trying to act like, yeah, I mean, like I like lost both of my parents last year. And she's like, look, you don't talk to your mom by choice. You got to figure that shit out. If you really don't want to talk to him, or if you want to cut him out of your life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was like another moment of like Jax taking her pain and not just listening to her.
Yeah.
And not just being like, I'm sorry, Dana. That's it. Don't make yourself the victim on top.
For sure.
Be like, I lost two parents. Is basically what he did. She was like, I lost one parent.
Yeah. And he should definitely know better, just because he has been there. Like, he did lose his father, so he should already know what that pain is like, and just be able to relate to her on that level alone. I think
he doesn't relate to anybody because he's Jax and he's gross.
Yeah, absolutely. So and
okay.
I mean, I know they talked about that, not walking on eggshells around someone when your parent, passes away. But I mean, Jax doesn't. Like, but he does it. But he does it rudely, and he does it. I can't think of what I want to say, but almost
he's just a bad person.
He does it inconsiderately. Yeah, like I don't care. So
he's a narcissist.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really what it comes down to. Jax is a big old narcissist. I want to get rid of him. If it comes out that he did make racial comments, like if he made some real shit, they have to get rid of him. Just cut him free.
Like you said, if they come back for the season next season, it would be really great to see them, like you said, break down that fourth wall and watch how this group dissolves, and then watch how we bring a new group forward, and these are going to be the new kids going forward, and this is going to be the new story. Because I think the fans are going to want to see that. That will make for great television if they do that and are honest with us, So
Lisa needs to hire some beautiful black and brown straight men, get some Arab and Latino men in there, and then let those and then those girls need to date those boys. You know what I mean? Not these scrubby losers who look like you could break them. You know what I mean? Like, gross. Okay, so that was it. Okay, so I think that was kind of like the whole episode of like Vanderpump Rules. Maybe that was the last episode ever, but I feel like that's going to be coming back next year. Who knows when? Who knows when? Yeah. So I think next week we are on another week of nothing. So we're gonna watch a vintage episode. So we're gonna do a vintage ep. I will figure that out, and I will let you know. We'll do a vintage episode of Beverly Hills, and we should do like one of like New York probably. And so just kind of like remind us of where we were. I got to pick something good for you. I got to figure out what you haven't seen in New York, because you are in a New York stand. So I got to get you something good. Have you seen the Scary Island series? Have you seen those?
No, I don't think so. No.
Season 3, when Kelly Benjamin loses her shit on the island.
Any of them. I remember watching a little bit of the first season of Housewives when it was like the OG crew. It was Luann, it was Ramona, it was that girl who had like the husband that they thought was gay but wasn't gay. Like he would pick out her outfits for her or whatever. You know what I'm talking about? Like,
we're gonna pick and choose. I'm gonna give an assignment. I will actually do a post, and I will make this live and virtual. That the episodes that we're gonna watch. We're gonna watch a couple, because the thing is, I think it'll be fun to just kind of like go all over the map and talk about these girls, because I think it would be fun to also talk about the "You Stole My Goddamn House" episode.
Yes,
absolutely. And I think also the Dinner from Hell with Alison Dubois. Your husband will never emotionally fulfill you.
Oh yeah,
like we gotta go into some of those clips, and so and you need to get yourselves right with the Scary Island in New York City. So New York season 3, it's episode 6, 7, 8, I believe. You are
Jesus, that's a lot. I was just gonna start watching Potomac because I heard we're getting like the 5th season soon. So I'm like,
that's not coming till August.
I know, but I need to start. I haven't really watched them at all, so I think I was going to start getting into that.
I watch 3 seasons a week. Okay, so you will get it.
I'm a loyalist to my Beverly Hills girls. So, and I was a loyalist. Atlanta for a while, but I just felt like they got so crazy and the cast got so like rearranged that I was like, okay, I'm out.
The Atlanta cast is amazing because they have the best. The reason why we didn't cover it here on the show only because we weren't at the beginning of a season with it, and then also because it was like right near the end. And for you to jump in at the end of an Atlanta can be very difficult because they have so many friends of. Because you have Shamia and you have Marlo and you have all these amazing characters. Marlo should have a peach by now, but they just can't insure the bitch. But like in this last season was amazing because she adopted 2 little boys, and they showed you Marlo is just an amazing woman. Like there's something, she's extra special. But when it comes down, when it's a brand new season, we'll totally be reviewing that. But like, but yeah, I would say for Potomac, season 1, don't even jump in that because the thing is, like 2 of those girls are gone. Katie's gone. Katie comes back and becomes crazy, like real crazy, like wig on halfway, like shows up, and the other girls acknowledge you got your wig on weird. Like I mean, like it's just like she goes. Yeah, this girl, she goes real crazy. She makes herself like this weird victim. So I would say like season 2 is when Potomac hits its stride, but season 3 is when it gets really, really good. It's very problematic though, because like Ashley, she's married to this man who's basically gay. Again, you can Google Ashley's husband's Grindr pictures, and so that's the whole journey too, because he is ugly in the face, but he got a body. And so like he's like real ugly, like Gollum in the face. But
but that body.
Yeah, well, there's just one part of the body that was like, whoa, look at that. Like that's why Ashley keeps you. But no, but like so there's that I think that happens like 3rd season. So it's a good time. So like, you know, maybe I'll find an episode of that. We'll just like bounce around a little bit. But I want you to watch those New York Scary Islands. You have to watch them. And it's such a quick watch. It's the Kelly Benson Crazy series. And it's go to sleep. It's that episode. Okay. And like awesome. wine glasses literally just appeared. Like Ramona's like standing there and she's like watching Kelly like freak out, and they have full butler service. So as she's watching, she's like, and you see this glass just appear, and she's like, and like she's just like it just, and she never looks at the guy. She just kind of like as soon as it comes through. So it's fun. We'll talk about some of that stuff. And then probably, maybe we'll see some more people get fired from Bravo. I'm hoping we talk about Jax being fired next week. I'm just saying.
Right? Bye.
Anyways. Okay, so we're going to wrap this up. Thank you guys so much for watching Binge Bitches Live. This has been another episode of Binge Bitches Talk. This week has been Vanderpump. We're usually doing some Bravo on these Friday afternoon shows. The Star Wars series is over at this point. When we get the next movie coming through, or when the next series of Mandalorian comes through, we'll bring that panel back together. But you can find the rest of those on the Binge Bitches YouTube over on YouTube. Just like and subscribe to that page. Other than that, you guys can follow my co-host today, Mr. Nelson, over on Instagram at Yasquan. And that is Y, 2 A's, 3 S's, and a queen with a K, W. Okay, that's because she don't read good. But you guys can follow me at Dangilo GoGo. Another thing I just did want to bring up real quickly is that one of the organizations that I do work with personally, that I do love them, I actually have worked in their gala committee for a couple of years. And so I do know that this committee does really work, and that this organization does really work. And that's Home Start San Diego. It's child abuse prevention. It's family rebuilding. They do a lot of good. And so they are home-start.org. You guys, this next week, they're doing their virtual Blue Ribbon Extravaganza. It's going on from Monday through Saturday. Right now, they have like a trip to Hawaii for $350. Get on that page, go and bid. Yeah, it's trip for 2. Like it's like 80,000 miles. You know, there's another big trip that you can get Alaskan airline tickets. There's Hotel Del stays, like Hotel Del Coronado. So it's like a whole bidding kind of a thing. All that money goes right back here into the San Diego community, to children and women in need coming out of domestic abuse situations and things. And so that being said, please do check them out at home-start.org. You will find that link also inside of the bio for this video over on YouTube. So do like and subscribe. Binge Bitches on YouTube. Again, thank you guys so much. This has been a Vanderpump Rules sort of a day. Thanks so much, Nelson. Mwah.
Welcome.
Goodbye
Bye.
from the lower level.
Bye, Bubba. Bye.
Bye.